contrasted sharply with the high-tech environment in which I had previously worked. I saw an opportunity for a business. I went on to start a software company, be the CEO, raise capital, provide value to customers, sell the business, lead a division within a billion-dollar company, and be recognized as a woman to watch in tech by the Boston Business Journal and as a change maker by Hubweek. I became a board director of a private equity-backed company, a managing director at a world-class investment firm, and in addition, I think I'm a pretty engaged mom to my now teenaged boys. Although this was not a straightforward or easy path, I don't think it would have been possible if I had stayed on a traditional career path. By starting my own company, I was able to gain a set of experiences that are difficult to get in a siloed organization. And I was able to do it while more fully integrating my work into my life. I made these decisions several years before Sheryl Sandberg's book, Lean In, was published, and a decade later, the conversation on women and work has still not quieted down. As I made decisions throughout my journey, I was reacting to the existing framework of what I understood to be possible. While my journey may sound unique, the choices that I felt I had at the time are common, and they are based on a history that hasn't really considered women in the workplace from the lens of what's possible. How did we get here? In early 2019, former U.S. First Lady Michelle Obama, who I greatly admire, made a passing comment while on a book tour in New York, simply noting that lean in doesn't work all of the time. Her casual remarks unleashed a firestorm of debate. Dozens of media outlets, including The Guardian, Fortune, Newsweek, NBC, and The Washington Post, all ran with the story. Headlines screamed, "Michelle Obama slams Sheryl Sandberg's lean-in theory. Michelle Obama believes lean-in doesn't work." It was as if the collective voice of the predominantly male-owned media had reared its head to seize hold of any conversation on the topic of women in the workplace to say, "I told you so. You really can't have it all. Even Michelle Obama agrees." And knowing that, as the New York Times reported in 2018, 86% of all women become mothers, it was no wonder that the topic quickly added to the national dialogue. But as I read the stories and listened to the ensuing heated discussions that unfolded on whether women could really have it all, I had a different thought. I thought, yes, you can, but not like this. Like millions of other people, I read Sheryl Sandberg's 2013 book, Lean In, and was motivated by it to rethink many social norms I had long unconsciously accepted. Her book, which encourages women to double down on their careers and assert their leadership skills, inspired me to continue to move my business, which I had started after stepping away from the traditional corporate world for a few years to be with my young children, forward. In fact, I was so inspired by Lean In that I was profiled on the Lean In website as a case on taking risks in 2013. leanin.org/stories/Claudia-Reuter. However, I also understand why many people argue that leaning in doesn't work. The book has managed to be a part of a national conversation for more than 6 years, and there are myriad reasons why one could argue that leaning in its most basic interpretation, is unrealistic. Yet I don't think it's the act of leaning in that doesn't work. It's not the pursuit of meaningful work or the desire to lead and earn a meaningful wage that doesn't work. It's the structures into which we're leaning, even with the goal to change them, that make it look so difficult. Many corporate structures are rooted in a past that no longer exists, single earner, male, and ethnically homogeneous. As Marissa Orr describes in her 2019 book, Lean Out, our systems must evolve, and until they do, they're leaving a treasure of diverse talent on the table. One solution Orr offers is to recognize the limitations of the system in which we work and understand that it cannot always fulfill our deepest human needs. When we recognize that we're looking for satisfaction in all the wrong places, the pain of our jobs begins to release its grip, and we can find alternative ways to fulfill our needs. In Lean Out, Orr candidly describes her experience of parting ways with Facebook. In her book, she dives into research on whether women even want the leadership roles that Sandberg rallies for women to go after, and offered statistics showing that, in fact, very